Greetings one and all, my name is Lancer and welcome to another anime reaction of the season, this one being another very popular shonen series, which of course being Mob Psycho 100 Season 3. I've recently been introduced to the amazing crazy world of Mob Psycho, unbeknownst to me at the time, after I've binged the first two seasons, that just a couple months away would be Season 3. And from what I understand, Season 3 may be the end? Because I don't think that there's that much manga material left to cover. I mean, to be fair, the way Season 2 left off, that kind of felt like that could have been the end of the series. Because it was like, it took down like the biggest of the bad, so it's like whatever's left here in Season 3, it's probably gonna be even bigger somehow. I love Mob Psycho. It's an amazing, it's like the best parts of My Hero and One Punch Man. Just a little more condensed and just even more extravagant in my opinion. It's one of my new favorites, definitely. It's very heartwarming, it's very hype, it's got everything. The way I watched Mob Psycho was, I originally went through the first two seasons in the Japanese. As I typically do with most series nowadays, is I go through with clips on YouTube and be like, what's the dub like? Just to be sure. And I was instantly hit with regret because the dub of this is freaking phenomenal. But this is one of the first cases though where it's like I saw that the dub was good and I was like, alright, time to rewatch it. And that's what I did. I rewatched it again in the dub. Thankfully, for this premiere episode, it looks like it's a simulcast. The dub was released along with the Japanese episode, so that's how I'm going to be watching it. As much as I prefer certain parts of the Japanese, just like, you know, how Dimple would say Mob's name is like, shake it. It's just mainly Reagan, man. It's like in the dub, he's just so good. One thing I want to know, Mob Psycho is very much a series where it's just like, kind of like Dragon Ball, where it's like you fight the antagonist of that episode or whatever, and then they become your friend, and then you add them to the posse. It's like we have a pretty big crew of characters after the last season. The main one I'm curious about is if we're gonna see Shimazaki again, the blind guy, just because he was my favorite from last season. Just, yeah, my favorite fights, just his choreography and everything. I loved it. His voice was great. He's the voice. He's the same guy in the dub who voices Diarmuid Lancer from Fate Zero, the guy synonymous with my channel icon, and also my bottle sticker. I'm curious if we see him again. But either way, I'd say this is enough talking, enough wrap up. Let's get right into this first episode of Mob Psycho Season 3. Get ready, we will suck you off,
These warriors opposing the shadows are called
Psychics. Ah, yes, the opening. Yeah, I've already seen the opening a while back. It's pretty great. I mean, pretty much all of Mob Psycho's openings are pretty great. This one might be one of, like, my favorite, though. It's pretty great. But it was last season's. Get ready, we will suck you off. That's not what it says, but it's what it sounds like when you first hear it. I saw the trailer, but I've already forgotten everything in it, so everything's fresh. I know that this came out on Wednesday. On Mal, it said that it was coming out, like, today on the 6th, which wasn't the case. I'm gonna keep it to on Thursdays though, just because next week on Wednesday, in case the schedule's right, it's gonna be a show that's gonna be taking priority, so I'm sure you can guess what it is.
According to what I heard, Takane's applying to Yuzu Pepper High.
Forget that all these kids are in middle school.
Schools in our prefecture.
Ah, Tsubomi. Come on, Mob. That's what I love about this show too. It's a lot of those kind of moments where it's just like, come on, Mob. You got this. Oh. What kind of explosion are we talking about? 100% lust.
But who can say? In the future, this may grow into a reputable agency with a small full-time staff.
I mean, you already have another employee. I want that poster.
So it was a perfectly timed opportunity to embark on a new challenge.
Challenge. Scamming.
Upon reflection, let's exorcise it. Please wait at the cafe upstairs for your own safety.
They have a cafe now?
You've raised an intriguing point, Mob. This was simply a test to find out if you were perceptive enough to pick up on my mistake.
But Reagan, you're perfect. Hakai. That's literally what it looked like. Christ.
Rice grain, Big Bang!
Big.
This is one of Reagan's special moves, where he takes a seemingly simple rice grain and unlocks its true potential.
Christ.
Terizawa realized how big the world truly was.
He became a believer. It's so bullshit. He's a middle schooler. Why does he have to know now?
Put whatever you want, and if your career path changes down the line, then so be it.
This is my
Exactly.
future.
I'm gonna study to become a veterinarian since I love animals so much.
It's cool hearing that guy say he wants to work with animals, because I think he's the same voice actor as 17 from Dragon Ball, and we know how he turned out. What happened to Emmy, man? I want to see her again.
There's nothing less than a battle for the fate of the world. You fought an evil organization.
Yeah.
For once, you actually understand. That's exactly right. Mob.
Psycho helmet.
You know that? I don't know. This one's pretty big.
I don't just mean size. Things can be big in other ways.
You mean?
Well, in my case,
Mob's a grower, not a shower. Ah, yes, the mid cards. Interesting. Oh yeah, and I hope we see Mogami again. My favorite fight still. I also just love his character.
Roach just seriously freaked me out.
Would you mind telling me how you came to the conclusion that you were possessed in the first place?
Look at his face.
Shoulders feel heavy all the time. Then that fiendish spirit got me fired from my part-time job over completely false allegations that I grabbed a female co-worker's ass. Okay, maybe our hands accidentally
Yikes. This is making me uncomfortable.
too. She said I was her type, so what other explanation could there be?
I think this is just called a midlife crisis. Weirdly well animated.
Am I doomed to go on like this, one meaningless day after the next until I draw my final breath?
Well, if you keep smoking, that'll happen sooner than you think.
Come to think of it, I wonder if my life isn't over already.
I know what you mean. I felt the same way. Confined to my
I should be laughing at this.
if I can't even choose a career path for myself, then what kind of life do I have to look forward to?
So deep on the first episode.
What do you say we put this off till tomorrow? I'm tired. Let's go to bed now, alright?
What is this, Sloth from Fullmetal Alchemist? Such a pain.
Double hydrogen water!
2 for 1?
Reigen's special moves, where he repels an evil spirit by making use of the hydrogen gas that's been added to the water.
The water. I love the music in this show as well.
You're a rep.
Oh. Whew.
Can we go to bed now?
Ooh, I'm 30 years old and I haven't got anything to show for my life either.
Actually, I'm feeling the same way he is.
You're in middle school.
That possibility makes me terrified that I'm going to choose the wrong path.
Well, that's life, kid. You gotta live and learn.
So you decided you'd like to continue on to high school.
You could have chosen not to.
I won't tell you to hurry, but if you don't figure it out while you're in your teens, you may struggle later.
He's 14.
But if I get too comfortable, I'm afraid for the rest of my life my age will be the only part of me that ever changes.
That's deep. Okay.
I may have to move on someday. I'm sorry.
Is that what we're building towards?
I know that, Mob. I was only kidding before. Your life is your own. It's up to you to live it exactly the way you want.
Master Reagan, Thanks.
Such a wholesome show. Oh no.
Well, what do you know? Guess my time has finally come.
No, Dimple's gonna become a villain. Not Dimple, man. He's awesome. But speaking of awesome, pretty great first episode. Still my favorite first episode was last season's, just because, I mean, I talked about in the reaction, just like, what happened to Emmy? She was great. Screw Tsubomi. Mob, you got Emmy. Go with her. This episode was really good as well. Just, you know, again, it's always just reintroducing everything. Nothing too crazy. Kind of setting up plot, maybe. Is Dimple gonna become a villain? Again, I mean, he never was like, I mean, he's a good guy, but it may be like a true redemption story where, because that's the case, it's like first half of the season, it's like we'll have a couple one-off episodes and then maybe like a two-parter, and then we'll go into the last half of the season, which is more of the bigger chunk of the story. Again, I haven't read the manga, I don't know any spoilers or anything about this, so I'm just going anime only. I don't know exactly how much we have left, but just I saw like one thing at one time where it's just like there isn't that much, like they were surprised how much season 2 covered. I don't know actually if the manga is actually done. I assume it is. All assumptions. Don't tell me what's gonna happen. Just like I'm going anime only. So I want to experience it. Friggin' Bones, man, they're killing it this season. My Hero, Mob Psycho. I know they have like other stuff as well, but yeah, this is a good, like, watching these shows right now. It's like I've needed it after a while, because that video where I talked about this last season's anime, and it's like, man, I've needed this refresh of just awesome goodness. Although there is a show that I watched recently that it didn't come out last season, but I did rewatch it, where I'm definitely gonna make a video on it, but that'll be coming in the time soon. So, but either way, Mob Psycho season 3, great so far. I'm really looking forward to just seeing more of this season. Again, if it's the end, I'm curious how it wraps. I just love seeing Mob's personal journey. It's just so many of those moments where it's just like, let's go, Mob. Like, not necessarily with him fighting, it's just more of just like his personal battles, where it's just like, you can be better, Mob. Even though you're only in middle school, like, you know, you can be the best. Like, you know, body improvement, you can get Tsubomi. Even though it's like, you don't need to end up with Tsubomi, man. There's plenty of others out there that are probably way better, but you know what? Go for it. Live and learn. The theme of this episode is just living and learning. And that's been a big overarching theme of Mob Psycho, is just figuring out your life, I guess. It's cool having Serizawa on the team. Now Reigen has 2 psychics to rely on. I mean, it's always been a thing where I think Mob's always like kind of known that Reigen isn't an actual psychic, obviously. I mean, definitely after Reigen's like amazing 2-parter last season, I feel like he definitely knows, but he still goes along with it. But it's like, yeah, it's cool. It's gonna be a sad thing if by the end of this season they do split, Mob goes his own way. I hope it does one of those things where it's like, it kind of does like a time skip and we see a little bit of grown-up Mob. No matter what happens, I'm here for it all the way, because I love this series. I love just everything that's gonna be coming out that I'm gonna be watching this season. Thank you all for joining me on this. I'm Lancer. Thanks for watching.